Well, that's a step in the right direction.
Hello, everybody. It's that time of week yet again. It's Tuesday night. It's Gen Z movie reviewing time. And I have the pleasure of being joined by my friend Luke here, my co-host and friend Luke Galliardo. And we're excited to talk about Zach Cregger's Barbarian 2022. If you're a fan of the new Weapons film, you're going to want to go back to this film, just a few years old. And I remember when this movie came out, I think it was one of those films everybody was talking about at the time, even our age, because the buzzwords I heard about it was especially brutal, and they never imagined what would have happened to Bill Skarsgård character. It's like a total switcheroo, and I'm so glad that we actually got to sit down and watch it together today, Luke, because neither of us have seen it, so this is our first time reacting to the film and giving you a review of it, because this is an interesting movie. Geez, we really needed something like this today, because I think horror has been pretty stale lately, except if you talk about Weapons. If you loved Weapons, you definitely need to watch this one. But let's not waste any time, because it's not just Luke and I. We have a special guest on today, a friend of the channel, a friend of Box Office Brawler, the great Horror with Nads. We're very thankful that she's here with us to talk all things horror. How are you doing, Nadia?
I'm doing great. I'm glad. I'm very excited to see what you guys thought of this. I saw this maybe a year or two ago, so not I didn't see it in theaters. I actually brushed it off when I first saw the trailer. I was like, this is just going to be a generic, he's the killer kind of movie slasher. And I was pleasantly surprised when I saw it for the first time. So I'm interested to see what your thoughts are. But thank you for having me on.
Oh, yes. Great pleasure having you on. Been streaming with you for quite some time, so it's nice having you on the channel. I had a good time with you guys on your channel as well. Talking about, what was it? Was it early
millennial
2000s?
horror?
Yeah, millennial horror. There were so many weird movies in that list. I am not interested in exploring, but I did add a few to my list as well, though.
Okay.
One was in particular was about like a cannibal in the woods. I can't remember which one it was called.
Oh man,
Ring any bells? I don't remember.
Cannibal in the Woods.
I think he's like really gross. I don't remember. I have it written down somewhere, but I added that to my list just because of your stream. So thanks for having me on there. But yeah, we're talking about Barbarian today. That's interesting you mentioned that with the trailer. So the trailers didn't suggest like the hidden secret in this film at all.
That's why I was very optimistic about Weapons not showing the storyline, because in this movie, if you've watched the trailer, it gives away nothing of what Act 3 or even Act 2 kind of gives you. I think there's pretty much two big twists to this movie, and you can't tell in the trailer. It really came off very generic, like, oh, this dude, and great casting of Skarsgård, like great casting of him, choosing him on this. Oh, he's just gonna be like the killer or slasher or something. No, it's first half a thriller, first half like a creature film, almost a second half a creature film. So yeah, I was very pleasantly surprised. That's why Weapons, I was like, we're not getting the whole story with the Weapons trailer. We're getting clues, but we're not getting the whole story.
Interesting expectations for you. That's cool. I'm so glad that he was able to pull off two great movies, in a row. Because I mean, I wonder, because this is like his first big film. And that's like just unbelievable to think that. I mean, this is a real standout horror film. I mean, this was unlike anything I've ever seen. I know that for sure. Definitely unique and wonderful in a lot of ways, which we're going to talk about, and some negative stuff as well, but not really very much. I don't have really very many complaints here. But why don't we just get into like reactions? Just starting off, emotional reactions. Luke, this was your first time watching Weapons. How do you feel?
Barbarians, right?
Oh yeah, Barbarians. My bad. Jeez.
So I haven't seen Weapons yet.
I had a feeling I was going to do that, and I did it right off the bat.
That's
great.
All right. That's all right. Same director.
You're good.
Mind blown. That was a very refreshing horror film. I feel very refreshed because that was very suspenseful. It kept me on my toes the whole time. It was fun the whole way. You were very
fun.
Yeah, you were very on edge the whole time. You had no clue what to expect from almost every character. You couldn't really trust most of the characters. It was very good. I needed that. We all needed that.
It was good, man. You need to see Weapons, man. He's gonna try to watch it tomorrow before we stream about it, because this was. I know you definitely loved this, and our friend Ty, he also loved watching this. Nadia, so you've seen it before. Did you watch it again recently by chance, or how did you feel watching it the first time?
I think it has, again, I really liked Weapons. I think Weapons definitely you have to see, but I feel Barbarian has better rewatch value in my opinion because I enjoyed it even on a rewatch lately. I saw it the other night. Still like it still locks me in, still intrigued by it, still even though I know where the story is going. When I first initially saw it, the first half of it is a slow start to it. And I think on the rewatch, you start to pick up on the subtleties throughout the act one that relates to act two and three.
Mm.
Once that big twist is revealed, the first one, I was hooked. I was like, where is
Mhm.
this? Is not what I thought this was going. So I really like it. Again, I think I like it a little bit better than Weapons, but I did really enjoy Weapons this year.
Mm. You make a good point about the rewatchable value because I just watched Weapons again. When was that? Just a few days ago in IMAX. I saw it the first time standard theater, then I saw it IMAX last time, and it's so funny. I think this is just a testament to his directing talents. Is that two times watch it two times over, you see that he just sprinkles important things even early
Mhm.
on. So I'm just that idea makes me curious to watch this again because I could see how there were like possibly a few things in the beginning that were like, hidden hints at what was to come that we didn't notice our first time watching this. So, as for me, gosh, I remember when I went in to see Weapons, there was just so much talk about Barbarian and how brutal it was, disgusting, brutal, gory. These were all the themes, the ideas, the horrors I had going in because I'm not really into I don't like torture stuff. I don't like
Okay.
demonic stuff and I don't I'm like gore, it depends on gore. I don't really mind. It depends.
Have you
And
seen Terrifier?
no, I'm
Like
not no way.
okay.
I'm
Okay,
staying away
I'm just
from
That's a
trying
whole
to
new
terrifying
judge
level
gore.
right
the
there.
like what is the
No.
goriest movie you've ever seen that was like, this is too far for me. I'm just curious.
Like horror wise?
Yeah.
That's a good question. It might have been you're gonna think this is so dull. It might
No.
have been Halloween Ends.
Oh
That's
no.
fine. That's fine.
I
So
thought
then
it was pretty gory, really.
I
You
just want
remember
to
that,
gauge
Luke?
where your gore
Yeah,
is
I
because
remember that. I wish I didn't.
I worked in
Yeah.
Hollywood for 13 years as a special effects artist. So like that was my niche to, do sculptures and blood works and all that kind of
So
stuff. So
you've
that
seen everything.
it doesn't bother it's body horror does bother me still to this day even knowing how they do it and stuff, but especially cuz blood doesn't bother me, but when it's like other fluids, like pustule fluids and
Uh-huh.
stuff, that's where it's like, I'm out. Like
Yeah,
I've
that's too
crossed the line.
far.
But
Exactly.
Terrifier, yeah, I didn't like Terrifier till the second half of the second movie. That was it.
Really?
Yeah, so
Oh,
yes.
that's funny. Well, I don't know if you saw, I just put
Sorry to
something on
derail
my
us.
no, you're cool. I just put something on X because I was at a local library and they literally had Terrifier 3 on the
Yes, I
shelf
saw.
for some child to rent. Terrifier
Yeah.
3.
No,
I
I
can't
am.
believe it. But yeah, so that was my impression going to this, that it was going to be really gory, it was going to be gross. But then when I saw Weapons, I didn't really think it was that bad at all. My girlfriend thought it was
Mhm.
disgusting and terrible, but I really thought it was pretty tame. And then here, I also didn't really think it was that disgusting or gory. There's just a few little things, but to me, it didn't really make a difference. But just out of movie reaction, I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. I was surprised because I didn't really think it was scary. I think in the very beginning, I think it's sort of like the case where, once they reveal the monster, it's no longer like a scary item because, just the anticipation of seeing like what it
Mhm.
looks like and what that, the creature in the dark, the
The
suspense that
unknown.
comes from that. Once you see it, I don't know what it is. It just takes away the terror. And I think that was kind of the case with this. But yeah, it wasn't really that scary to me, but I don't care. I'm more into thrillers than anything else. And I thought this was just an amazing thriller filled with lots of fun characters that are
Justin Long.
definitely Justin Long. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to
You
talk about
you
him.
guys are younger than me. I grew up with Justin Long movies, and this is similar to Skarsgård, where Skarsgård is casted as like completely what you don't think so, right? Because he's just coming off being Pennywise and such. Long too, right? Long is playing you think the innocent dopey guy that maybe it turns out no, he's not. He's a douchebag too. So yeah,
Uh-huh.
completely out of
I had high
character.
hopes for his character at first. I'm like, are the
Oh.
accusations fake? Like he seems cool,
No,
but
They give him
No,
a fake redemption arc, and then he totally busts it at the end. Yeah,
I
no.
know that end scene is so pivotal. It's like unbelievable what happens. But before we get into it, because we're going to do something a little different, everybody, I'm going to go through a lot of the minor and major points of the film, and then we're just going to kind of talk about it, ask each other a few questions, and react. Before I do, though, please make sure to give Nadia a subscribe. Check out her channel. She's very active, very active. You stream like what, three times a
times a
week?
week.
3 times a
Yeah.
week, yeah. So please be sure to check
More to
her out
come.
and check out her content if you're really into horror, and to see whatever else she does, because she's active, fun YouTuber. So be sure to check her out. And before we go on, we're also going to say hello to everyone in the chat. King Kong 99, a channel favorite. Let's go. This is a classic. Like, share, and sub, people. Listen to King Kong, everybody. We appreciate your support. If you give us a thumbs up and subscribe, check out Nadia's channel and share the channel. Share the stream with anybody that might be interested in checking this out, because if you're a fan of weapons, you're probably going to want to see this too. Then we have another friend here, Doc Kaiju. He's the first one in the chat. And for whatever reason, he says Godzilla is greater than Kong. Yeah, you're definitely right about that. The Kong movies are dog. Let's see.
Yeah, they're fun. They're fun.
Yeah, they're just completely mindless, though.
Sometimes you need that, though. Kind of like, you just have something on in the background kind of thing.
Yeah, Godzilla X Kong is, best of both worlds. It's kind of fun, and it's completely mindless.
Yeah.
Doc Kaiju. I saw this movie late one night and hardly remember it, but I remember liking it. How do you forget about this one, man? This sticks with
It's not a sleeper, I don't say.
No, this ain't no sleeper, that's for sure. Proctophile's here. What's up, Proctophile? Oh, perfect. I was playing Helldivers and thought I was late. Yep, we're a little late tonight, guys. Hope you stayed up. Good to see you. Cass Styles is here. Yeah, it's okay. We don't mind waiting for good people. Cass Styles. Hey. Hey, Cass. Good to see you. Let's see. And then Wilkie's also here. Hey, y'all. What's up, Wilkie? We're going to be talking with Corey next Tuesday about, what's that movie called? 2001: A Space Odyssey. How embarrassing. I forgot what that movie was. Haven't seen that one yet. I don't think he's seen it either. So we're going to be talking about that. No.
Corey, shame.
Shame on you, Corey. It's all right. We're learning together. Blue Collar Losers here too. Jackson, be careful. You have Nadia on. Bring aspirin. Well, I just pumped a few Advil earlier, but that wasn't because of her. So, yep. Message received. Oh, gosh. Great. But let's get right into it, guys, because there's so much crazy stuff to talk about this. So, what's interesting about this movie, which you mentioned, Nadia, is that, the trailer suggested that this was going to be just kind of a, one of those films that's kind of cliche. You see it coming. Oh, of course, Bill Skarsgård's the villain. He's obviously going to be the butcher here. And the first 30 minutes sets you up for that. If you don't know what you're getting into here, you can't help but to realize or to think that he is going to be the bad guy. But the story begins through the eyes of Tess. She's a young woman visiting Detroit, Michigan, interested in applying for a job as a research assistant for a documentary filmmaker. So pretty interesting position. She's new to the area, and she doesn't really realize how crappy of an area in Detroit she has just landed in because it's late at night. But she is staying in this Airbnb. It's, what is it? It's like 476 Barbary Street. It's literally the only active building in this little city, this little neighborhood. Everything's just trashed. It looks like garbage. And unfortunately, Detroit, Michigan kind of looks like that still. Last time I was there, it didn't look much different. So pretty accurate to my experience in Detroit. But, it's late, rainy night. She arrives here alone. And it turns out her Airbnb's got a little buddy there. She's not alone. Looks like there's been a mix-up with the Airbnb plans, and Bill Skarsgård has already been staying there. He plays this character, Keith. And you know what? At first, he seems like a pretty normal dude. He's a little wild-eyed, a pretty girl at the front door late at night. And, they're trying to figure out what to do here. Right off the bat, I thought, you know what? I don't know why on earth she would stay with this dude. She doesn't know who he is. I think it would have been better for her to just leave the city altogether if she couldn't find a hotel, which she had a hard time finding one. They were all booked up. I wouldn't stay with this dude. You don't know this guy. He's kind of wild-eyed in this really shady trash town. but she decides to spend the night there at least, after some sort of reluctance. And, everything kind of seems relatively normal, but Keith slowly begins to show warning signs that he may actually be a threat to her survival. So I'm wondering what you guys think. Just we're going to continue to talk about like Bill Skarsgård character. We're not at the point where, he is out of the story. But before we do that, where do you guys think this was going to go initially? And how do you guys feel about this like dramatic buildup?
I had a feeling that they were aiming to give this guy as many red flags as possible because he passed the red flag test at pretty much every moment he was on the screen, which had me thinking a little bit, thinking, are they trying to throw us off here, or are they just giving us a simple villain? It was pretty fun watching him with his awkwardness. He was very awkward, very creepy and standoffish, and you can kind of tell that she was getting uncomfortable and trying to quicken.
He was being so weird right off the bat.
Oh,
Yeah.
very.
I felt for her. I'm like, this girl, like it was such a dumb move staying in there with him. And at first he seemed kind of chill, but then he starts like, it looks like he really wants her attention. And then he kind of throws in the flirtatious nod. He's like, what did he say? He's like, oh, Tess, that's a pretty name. And then she's like, oh no, is that what this is going to be?
Yeah, that's what, but that was kind of my view on him going as soon as she knocked on the door. But Proctifile is kind of like a vibe check,
Vibe check. Got it.
The red, yeah.
What is the red flag test?
Red flag.
Like a vibe check,
Nice. What do you think, Nadia?
First initial thoughts similar. I thought there's something going on with him. Something would be revealed about him that it's being set up to. So like a typical slasher movie, it's like, oh, he's the nice guy. But it's always the nice guy, right? It's always the shy guy that's ends up being the killer. So I thought that's where they were going with it. So, but on rewatch, you can kind of see that where this movie was based off, because Cregger wrote it up based off The Gift of Fear, like I was telling you guys, where it's emphasized on recognizing survival instincts and to try to avoid danger. And you can see Tess doing that throughout the first act, especially in this part, but she's reading too much into it, because when you learn that Keith is actually just like a nice dude, he's just typical dude. There's nothing really alarming about him, you eventually learn. But it does, with this first act, does play out as if he's the red herring, right? He's going to be the guy.
Yeah, it did kind of seem like she was trying to get a feel for him, but he wasn't really giving any sort of green flag. So I'm surprised she didn't just flee at that point.
I thought he was a nerd, especially with the wine scene where he didn't open the bottle of the wine to try to make her feel comfortable about it. So it was like throwing you off. Like, is he a nice guy? Is he not? What is going on? And then the weird sleeping, talking in his sleep kind of deal. That kind of, and watching it back and knowing Cregger now, that's to throw you off. That's to make you feel comfortable, similar to what the book he based it off of is. So yeah.
Wait, so what's up with this book? Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Because you said this is based on that to some degree.
So he took themes from it. So it's based off Gavin D. Becker's Gift of Fear. It's a book, nonfiction work, recognizing your survival instincts, empathizing and trusting your intuition and avoiding danger. He wrote a short outline for the movie based off of this book. Well, he was influenced at least based off this book.
Oh, that's cool. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
and you see it played out through each character throughout the movie. If you read, yeah. Okay.
I think so many of the more clever films, they're based on some sort of literature work. So that's cool that he pulled some themes from that. I had no idea. That kind of information is something you kind of have to like for me, I never would know that. That's not something that just kind of gets passed around word of mouth. So that's cool. You knew about that.
Interviews and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. And you read it.
No, I haven't read it. I know it's based on, I know the general theme of what the book is and stuff, but I have not read it. No.
Okay. So something funny, it was like with this segment of the film, I knew, unfortunately, because Nadia, you sort of spoiled it a little bit for me.
I didn't know you had not watched it by then.
It's okay. You didn't know. Like, we're past the spoiler threshold here where, it's 3 years old. You should know by now. There's no wall here guarding you. But yeah, I won't even spoil it for anybody else because I don't want to. But it turns out Bill Skarsgård's not exactly the villain. There's something much
Mhm.
worse lurking in the basement. But I knew that he wasn't going to end up being the bad guy because like the word around was that he gets killed brutally. That was one of the only few things I knew about this movie.
Mm.
And that definitely plays off soon. But it was interesting to see those two interact with each other, especially when, she's like so on edge through the first like
Mhm.
15 minutes. And then what is it? They're waiting for the sheets to dry. And then he's got the wine out and she eventually starts enjoying the wine. And then they're kind of flirting a little bit. They're having fun, they're getting a little more comfortable with each other. And he was such a gentleman when before he went to bed, there was nothing. They just went their separate ways, even though they kind of liked each other. He was playing the long game. And at that point, I was like, all right, man, well, maybe you got something good going for you.
I
Maybe
would
you're
not
not
have stayed there. Even if it's Skarsgård that opens the door, I would have been like, you know what? I'll
still
just
don't
drive to
stay
the
there.
next town. I would drive to the next town. Drive to the
Uh-huh.
next town. I would not, never. Never. But
No,
I mean, it
it's
goes opposite of what women are taught nowadays, right? That's this build on the fear of for a woman, this is like one of your worst fears. You end up at a
mhm.
place and there's a strange dude you don't even know who can overpower you there. So yeah, I would have not stayed. Even if
Yeah,
it
it
was
just seems
Skarsgård.
like yeah, you think she'd know a little better. She seemed like a smart lady and all, but yeah, that's
Mhm.
like rule number one, and she didn't follow that. And that's a good point. She didn't. I don't think she locked the door either when she went to bed that night, but because she
Mhm.
seemed pretty comfortable with him, which is unfortunately a little dull to do. But they
Yeah.
do eventually become. They like. It looks like they're starting to feel for each other a little bit, and I was kind of rooting for him because I thought he was a good guy at this point. I'm like, all right, bro, you're doing all right. Good for you, buddy. Unfortunately, she does a little bit of adventuring not long after, starting to feel for this guy, and she needs some toilet paper. So she goes down to the basement. She sees that the basement has toilet paper that she needs, and she's kind of digging around there, and she accidentally opens. There's like this weird rope sticking out of the wall, and she pulls the rope and thus opens a giant hidden door. And in that door, she
Yeah.
reluctantly travels in there, dark room. Let's see. I think I might have a picture of it here.
So it's
Here we
interesting the
go.
camera work here. When she's exploring the tunnels, if you watch, she's exploring from her phone, which has like the LED, really sharp, dark, kind of not dark, but it almost makes things look muggy, right? It's a little
Mhm.
gray. But when we get later on, when we get Justin Long's character who's going through it, it's warmer. It's because he doesn't have any
Oh,
fear of going down there. Her camera works a little bit more claustrophobic than his when they're exploring the down areas of here. If you pay attention
oh,
to it,
that's
like you gotta
interesting.
watch. It's because she has a fear of going down through these tunnels, and it's being shown through the camera work where Long's character was like square footage, yay.
You said it
Uh,
was filmed with a phone?
no, when she's walking through, there's a where she's exploring, she's actually the light is coming from her phone, which is an
Mm,
LED shot. So
Oh,
it's
okay.
like muggy, it's like grayer, the coloring, right? Because it's more of a white light, not a
uh-huh.
warm light. Where Long uses a
Oh, yeah.
flashlight that's warmer, and the camera's a little bit more steady when he's exploring and such, because he doesn't have really anything to fear about.
It's pretty neat.
That's a good point. I didn't see that. Very good insight. But,
Yeah.
yeah, going into this disgusting, weird little tunnel, there's only one room, and it's this one. It's like, gosh, this is like a horrifying sight. A lot of this movie kind of reminded me of the back rooms a little bit, especially later down the road. And this to me just seems like a little room you would walk into in one of the back rooms games. And, you step in here, you have this horrifying image of this old video camera, a disgusting soiled bed, and what you don't see in this picture here is a bloodied handprint on the wall. Seems like a pretty alarming sight. So she rushes out and she's pretty freaked out. And then she gets locked in the basement. Oh, crap. She's locked in the basement. And thankfully, Bill Skarsgård, he comes to the rescue soon after, but he's weird and kooky and he really wants to check the place out. So he goes down there after she begs him not to, but he really wants to see it. So he goes down and then she doesn't hear from him. What is she going to do? She eventually goes down. She gathers the courage, goes down to look for him. and he's not there. He's not in this room. He's not hiding behind a door. And she does a little bit more digging, and then she finds that there's another room, and it stretches even further down. There's more stairs going under this, completely dark. And worse yet, she goes down those stairs all alone, defenseless, no weapons or anything, barely any light to spare. And while she's down there, she finds a few cages on the floor, and there's really it's a hopeless area. She hears Bill Skarsgård yelling, help me in the distance, and she eventually finds him. And I thought maybe at this point, when you see him, I think I have a picture here. Oh, I don't. I thought I had a picture of him crawling. But when she finds him, he's being really weird right off the bat. It almost looks like he's like put under some sort of spell, because he's on his hands and knees, and he's walking or crawling towards her, and he doesn't want to go the way she's directing him, which is literally the exit. It wouldn't be any other way. He wants to go the opposite direction. He thinks that's the other way out. He's kind of tripping balls at this point. And she kind of deliberates with him for a moment, and suddenly the inbred woman mommy comes out of nowhere and smashes his head against the wall like 10 times. And that's pretty much where this scene cuts out, and we move on to the second part of the segment. And this was, of course, the big scary reveal that nobody seemed to see coming, that you were mentioning, Nadia. So, like, the first time you saw this, were you pretty shocked to see what happened to poor Keith?
I was, like I said, locked in. Like, this was the moment that I didn't touch my phone. I'm completely invested by the craziness. I did one of those, dad things where you stand up and watch the TV, like, crossed arms, just watching the TV kind of deal. Yeah. How it went from thriller to, again, I think we're moving into like a creature feature kind of film elements to it, was well done. I think well done. There are problems with Act 2 and 3, so don't get me wrong. There are problems, especially somewhat with the ending, but it's such a high contrast to it just surprised me. And note too, like Cregger said, Weapons and Barbarian are in the same universe.
Oh, really?
So, like,
wow. Oh, that's weird.
When you're saying like, oh, maybe he was under a spell or anything.
Oh.
Maybe he was. Maybe there was something he took down there, or something was done. But yeah, it's the same world. So
I love that. I'm so glad that's the case. What
So
a
it is like a
terrible world to
sequel,
live
huh?
in.
yeah,
That's
Which
awful. What
But
hell on earth?
I also don't think the mother is the villain of this movie.
Oh, well, yeah. I wouldn't necessarily say that either.
The mother towards Act 1, this and Act 2 kind of plays off as the victim. Towards Act 3, I think too much more so the monster, and similar to what you said, too much showing of her, right? Like, I like the mystery a little bit to keep her in the shadows and just build the tension and have her come out. Instead, I feel like Act 3, we just like, all right, we're gonna have her run through this, do that, just throw everything at the wall. But
yeah, and viewers that are interested in seeing what she looks like, I have, let's see, because she's literally an ugly, naked, giant woman, and it's literally a dude dressed as a lady with boobs and everything.
This is Saturday mornings.
yeah, right. So this is her on the left. That's just her head.
This is before I stream.
Yeah, nice. This is before the setup. This is us in the morning. But yeah, she's pretty disgusting. Here's another image of her crawling out of a window.
That was the best. That
was
really
great.
That scene.
I mean,
yeah,
that was great. That was a very thrilling, suspenseful moment. Can I make an observation really quick?
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call this thing. Do you know what?
I call it the inbred mommy.
Inbred mommy, yes. Okay. Do you know what the inbred mommy really reminds me of? And I feel like it's a pretty good comparison. It's a really old book. We've all heard of it. To Kill a Mockingbird. Boo Radley. Boo Radley only comes out at night. Is like trapped in very secretive and big mystery around that character.
Is Boo Radley a villain?
I mean, looked at it as a villain.
I don't remember.
He's like a victim. He's really like a victim. He's trapped. And also, the first half of this movie, it really made me want to watch Psycho again, because you're watching like the whole
Oh,
begin. Yeah, like you're watching the whole beginning, and
twist.
you think, yeah, the twist. Like you think that this main character is going to be throughout the whole movie, and then halfway through, they're gone, and then they start off with a new character.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Scream 2 take
Yeah,
influence
yeah.
to that too. Yeah.
there you go.
Because
Yeah.
the first one, yeah, it's very. I like the inbred makeup design to this, because this is unnerving, almost uncanny valley
Uh-huh.
kind of look, because it looks humanoid, like it looked like it could be somebody that's been inbreded so many times and kept in a dingy dungeon. Like, this looks realistic to me. This could happen,
Mm.
maybe even in Detroit. I don't know. I'm from Chicago.
Maybe even in Detroit. Yeah, this is what the inbred Detroit people look like. Hopefully not. I mean, this is like kind of like you mentioned, Nadia,
They're
how
out
this is
there,
like
people.
a creature feature. I mean, this thing's not a
Mhm.
person really, and it's pretty super powered, especially in the end. At the very end, you see how durable this thing is, and yeah, she makes for a very compelling villain. I thought she was a villain. I mean, she's
Mm-mm.
definitely a victim in this, but I mean, she gouges poor Bill Skarsgård's eyes out. I think that makes her a villain. Or no, she doesn't
I mean,
gouge his eyes out. She
if you
smashes his head against the wall. He
Mhm.
didn't do anything wrong.
Numerous times.
if you were abused by men or a man, and then you watched your mother be abused and so on, knowing how far this inbreeding probably goes, I mean, I think justified, probably scared of any man that approaches her or something to that extent. You also, that's the great thing about
That's
this.
a true point.
You don't actually see their encounter. You only see him running away from
Mm.
her, in a sense. You don't actually see the first time he's seen her, like what happened in those few minutes while he was down there by himself. You can kind of fill in the gap for yourself as a viewer.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm excited to get to the discipline scene with her and Justin Long, because I mean that's I don't know, that's still it's not a very nice thing to do to somebody. I don't think it's something someone would particularly enjoy, and to me it is kind of villainous. But of course, that's just kind of her nature. And you make a good point. That's what's crazy about this character. You don't really realize her roots and like what she actually is until like 2/3 way through the film, and she's literally inbred, like you said. Yeah, watch
Mhm.
her parents get abused, and then that's come like cycles from years and years and years. So yeah,
From
it's
the
a pretty
same
terrible
person.
thing. Yeah,
Also,
so
Keith is a big dude. Again, casting Skarsgård, he's a big dude. Where Justin Long is a tiny guy, right? He
mm,
appears meek, right? So I can see why she would not be intimidated by Justin Long, where she would be intimidated by the size of Keith
that's a
or
good point. Yeah,
Skarsgård.
I don't really think about how big Bill Skarsgård is. You know how tall he is by chance? He's a
Oh,
big guy, huh? I never really
they're
thought about that.
all, that whole family is huge.
6'3", 6'4".
He's great. I love
Yeah.
him. He's such a great actor. He's really like one of those new young actors that's really just taking
Mhm.
horror to a great new height. So
Absolutely.
it was really cool seeing him in this, even though he wasn't like a horrifying character at all. But at this point in time, this is an appropriate image to some degree, because the perspective shifts. We're no longer seeing things through Tess's perspective. We're now looking at things through this guy who's getting strangled in this scene. His perspective, Justin Long, his character is AJ, and he's living in a sunny side of the world. I'm not exactly sure where, probably like California or something like that. He's kind of big business there, and I believe he's involved in some sort of stage production. But
Actor.
he is. Oh, is
He's
he
an
an actor?
actor. He's
Oh,
in
he's an
LA.
actor. Oh,
Yeah.
cool. All right. I thought he was involved with film. I just wasn't sure what. But his character AJ is recently accused of some sexual charges, which he staunchly defends against. And at first, he seems like a pretty cool guy. Like, he seems nice, and that these offenses are unwarranted. And I don't know. There's something about him where he just looks like a decent guy. He doesn't look like the kind of guy that did something wrong. And I think Cregger kind of led audiences to believe that this was, just a normal dude, nothing crazy about him, and that we should probably, disregard that. It just didn't seem like
Well-
that was something he did. Mostly because,
Yeah.
I mean, he just sweared up and down he didn't do it.
He said he's just
Ah.
persistent. That's all he played it off to be. I'm just a persistent guy. Like, I'm just very persistent.
Mhm.
And yeah,
that was the
little
first
bit of
red
it.
flag, though.
Yeah, a little bit
Well,
of it.
I looked right through him. I don't know. He seemed like a tool to me.
You thought so right off the bat?
Oh yeah, yeah. I knew he was lying. I knew he was BSing.
I think that was you made a good point, Nadia, because that was like when he said that, that was the first like little red flag, just waving. It's like, okay, wait, maybe you don't like this guy as much as you think you should. Because
Yeah.
that was douchey, obviously. Nobody wants to hear that. But this whole allegation situation makes his life fall apart. He's now, he's a pretty successful actor, as you say, in Hollywood, and he's got a very nice car. He has multiple properties. He's living the high life. And these allegations, he's now lost his job, and he's going to have to pay just a butt ton of money in lawyer fees. So he's trying to figure out how to make some money from his properties. So he visits one of them, and who knew that the property that he owns is the 476 Barbary Street location where the inbred mommy is living in. He definitely didn't know that. Once he goes over there to visit, he's just straight up desperate to capitalize on this space, because he really doesn't have very much money to just kind of throw around. I think they said it was like $140,000 per defense, and he has like 2 defenses he has to make. So that's a lot of money.
Mhm.
So
He's
yeah, he's
trying
gonna have to make us
liquidate stuff fast.
liquidate.
Yeah.
That's right. So he visits this property. He sees it looks like some people have been squatting there because the previous Airbnb guests, they checked out or they checked in a while back. They weren't really relevant anymore, and it looks like there's some squatters. And he just kind of like shacks it off like it's not that big of a deal. He gets upset with the management company involved in the landmark space, but he's like, okay, I definitely need to sell this place. He looks up. He's interested in the square footage and the profitability that's made from having a space that has lots of square footage. So he starts digging around and measuring his space, and he runs into the basement and he sees, oh my gosh, there's this whole hidden space in the basement. I could make so much more money because of all the square footage, which I don't know who on earth would want that as part of their property space. Nobody's going to use that space for anything down there. But, of course, it's all optics. So he starts venturing down deep into the basement, and then deep within the hole in that basement, just very lackadaisical. You're not thinking about it. Like you said, the camera work was like yellowish. He was comfortable. He wasn't thinking there was sort of any sort of threat looming in the background. And of course, while he goes down there, he has a horrifying encounter with the nude monster after she races towards him. And while he's kind of scurrying through the space, he walks past this strange room. It's this strange room. It's kind of like a baby's room, and it has a bed. It has a TV playing an entrance video for mothers who want to learn how to breastfeed their child. Very, obviously it seems like something that mothers back then would watch to learn how to do it. Kind of one of those just intro movies, how to be a mom. And, he's like, what's this doing down here? It's like the only room that's actually lit. And that's when the inbred mommy, she races after him, and he eventually falls into a hole, pretty much a trap. And within this trap, he runs into Tess. She's not dead after all. And down there, she reveals that, you know what? The only way you're going to live is if you abide by the rules. You got to play like you're this mommy's baby. And this was a disturbing discovery, nonetheless, especially when the inbred mommy comes to check on them, and she has some delicious breast milk to feed to them. She's got her warm bottle. She reaches down into the grates and she's feeding Tess, and she's drinking it up. It's so gross. And the bottle has hair on it, and it's disgusting. And you know what? Justin Long, he's not. Yeah. It was horrifying. Justin Long, he doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to drink it. He's just not very interested. It's not an intriguing prospect for him. So he decides not to do it. And she is coaxing him, do it. Drink from the bottle. You must drink from the bottle. You have no idea what you're about to get yourself into. He's like, no way, no way. So she ends up pulling him out of there. And what happens to him is way worse than just that. The inbred mommy, she learned a lot from that video. She's been watching that video for years. So you see a suffering image of him being held down by this 7-foot beast getting breastfed by a monster. and he just can't stay. And it's one of those. This is the kind of scene that will stick with you forever. And thankfully, we don't linger on it too long because I think this will literally
Oh.
scar everyone's minds. But yeah, while this happens, this gives Tess the perfect time to escape. And while she escapes, she wants to, of course, she's still thinking about Justin Long. She wants to go back. She wants to save him. So she does the reasonable thing and tries to get the cops' attention. The cops don't seem to care at all. They don't believe her. They think she's some crackhead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's
and
been down there 2 weeks, by the way. The time frame.
Wow.
2 weeks in there.
I was wondering
How do we
about
know that?
It's through the time. I don't know. I researched it. I don't know.
Okay,
I can't remember
I imagine
exactly
they
I think it
reveal
was
it.
mentioned in a dialogue or something, but yeah, she's been down there 2 weeks.
Oh,
Just you follow the
gosh.
timeline of that.
That's terrible. 2 weeks down there. All that. Oh my gosh. She's definitely only drinking the milk. I don't think there's any food in there for her to
Unless they
enjoy.
baby bird her. You know what I mean?
Oh gosh. Oh my. Imagine if they showed that. Like, you think breast milk's bad? That would be so much worse.
I
She's not really.
Mother that did that to my sister when we were little.
You had a what?
I had a step grandmother who baby bird, not me, but my sister would chew
Oh, oh my gosh. Wow.
yeah.
That's a sight to see.
Yeah.
Well,
That's probably why I like horror movies.
family love, right? There's
Yeah.
the spawn of it at the young age. That's a good point. I didn't even think about how that could have been something that could happen. Like, yeah, it could. You think it could get worse with the breastfeeding, but yeah, that's horrifying. But yeah, the cops. This was where I was wondering, because the cops they weren't in. They did not trust her at all. I mean, she kind of looked like a crackhead a little bit, but she was pretty well spoken. She wasn't tripping at all. And they just weren't interested. And they kind of had especially the other cop, there was the black cop who was the one she was talking to, and then the white guy, he had this glazed look, like he knew what was happening, but he just didn't care. Do you guys have any sort of insights into that, why the cops weren't more interested in helping out?
I thought they were in on it.
I thought so too.
My first view.
But I don't know why they would be. It doesn't really make any sense.
I think they deal with the home, because you remember in the beginning that homeless guy that chases her into the house, who actually ends up helping her out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're probably dealing with homeless people around there who know about the mother and who are like, yeah, we see it, and they just kind of brush it off. So they just kind of feel like she's just within that group.
Oh, that was.
It is Detroit, Michigan too, so it's probably pretty frequent.
But
it's like that where we are. There's just tons of crazy people around just shouting nonsense, tons of them. And yeah, I guess I could see that being more believable. But they just had this. He had the white cop had this glazed look, like they were somehow involved. But I don't know why on earth they would just pass this off if they knew about it. What were you saying, Luke?
Hold on, I didn't know that was the same guy who was trying to help him out. Towards the end. I thought that was oh wow. I saw him as a completely different dude.
But it makes sense in the beginning. Her fear of with the avoid dangerous situation. She thinks this individual is a dangerous situation, right?
That makes so much sense. Yeah.
But he's trying to warn her not to go into the house in that initial thing. It's muffled, and then he's the one to pull her out, and then he's also the gentleman in the act that takes him to his hideout that the mother finds eventually. But yeah.
Do you know who he also reminded me of? It's so many comparisons. The head chef from The Shining.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's similar role.
Like a guide to it. Yeah. Like a guide. Yeah, who knows, what's the lore and stuff. Yeah. I think we, in a sense, we need that to build up that she's in a sense like a legend around this area, right? She's a fear of the homeless people have seen her, but they know don't avoid her, don't go in the houses and stuff. Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah, I failed to mention him. Yeah, when she escapes, she runs back into him, and he kind of gives her a rundown of the situation. And he reveals a horrifying truth that the inbred mommy, she comes out at night. She doesn't just stay in the basement. She comes out. Who knows what she does outside? But it seemed like from the looks of it, those cages, she had some cages in the basement down there, and they had been in use for something before. So who knows how many people have been.
I don't think it's her cages. So when we get to the reveal, like because
Ah.
remember that was his house in the 80s. That was where he
Mm.
lived, and the basement and the other room, I think, is according to that individual. I don't think it's for her to like cage people. That's why I think she just has
Okay.
the
That
pit.
was a
Yeah.
very sick way to torture. I noticed there was like a dog bowl in one of the cages.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes you wonder like what's actually looming down
But
there.
Mm.
it allows you to pay, the audience to kind of fill in the gaps, right? We don't really
Mhm.
necessarily to see the torture on screen. We just need to have the setup for it well done when we get that to that reveal with the camera work and the
Mhm.
individual. Again, timid individual, not much of a fear to his community, but look at what's really happening on the inside. But yeah, I don't know where I was going with that.
I hate it when that
I like
happens.
my
Well
like, train
said.
of thought just
Fumble
left.
back.
Good points.
Yeah.
Good points. No, you're cool. This was one of the more disturbing scenes in the whole film where you see poor Justin Long getting breastfed and then even poor Tess drinking from the bottle. How do you guys feel about watching that? What was your reaction?
I would have starved myself.
But you couldn't
I'm
starve
glad-
yourself. You had to do it.
I'm glad I'm
You had to,
lactose
Luke.
intolerant.
she totally trusts you on that.
I mean, no. I mean, I would have taken the alternative. I don't know. Honestly, no. I'm not touching a hairy.
I think that for me, that set a good tone for the movie. It helped me. It opened my eyes to like, okay, it's about to get really freaky here, and we really don't know what to expect from this creature on a level farther than just violence.
I think that's Cregger's comedic experience being sprinkled throughout the film. Because remember, he comes from a comedy background. He doesn't come from a horror background.
Mm.
So I think, what is the grossest thing you can kind of joke of is like a bottle with a hair on it or breast milk.
Uh-huh.
I mean, so I think this is like his dark humor in a sense being sprinkled
Are you
throughout.
familiar with him in comedy? Has he done movies or is like stand up?
He did like one movie, but he had a show. I think it was, what is it, White Kids on the Block or something to that extent.
I didn't know that.
I think that's it. That's what it is, and it ran for 2007 to 2011. That's actually where his friend Trevor, the one who he wrote Weapons for, a lot of like the hot dog things based off a scene in that and such.
Oh,
so,
really?
yeah.
I love the hot dog scene. I want to prepare that lunch. Was it like 8 hot dogs on a tray?
I told my husband, I was like, I'll prepare it for us for the weekend. We're just eating hot dogs all day.
That's perfect. That's the dream right there. Luke will understand what we talk about when he sees the movie. Hopefully soon.
Yeah.
But here, let's get to the chat real quick. Thanks everybody for talking. Let's see what you guys have to say. Let's see. Wilkie's there. Wilkie says, shame on me for not seeing A Space Odyssey 2001. Dang, it's all right. We're going to experience that together, my friend. Cass Styles, I thought the moment they were down in the tunnels, he was going to, unalive Tess. And my jaw hit the ground when it was him that got unalived. It's so stupid we have to say these words. You know what I mean?
I know.
Come on, YouTube. Let us say the words. It's stupid. Yeah. It's like we're just telling a story. We're not encouraging anything here. Star Wars Closet, what's up, man? Biggest box office brawler fan of all time. Aww. What's up, man? Good to see you. So he has a fun channel. I met him at a convention in Nashville, and he's having Star Wars fans go on his channel, and they're talking about how like the impact Star Wars made in their lives. And this other nice guy, he just did a video about him. And he's like talking about how much he loves Star Wars. And I messaged Star Wars Closet and I'm like, can I come on there and talk about how Disney Star Wars destroyed my life? And he said yes. So hopefully we could do that because that would be so fun.
Princess Leia's blaster tattooed on my side here with I love you. And then my husband has Han Solo with I know tattooed on his Leia.
That was when it was great.
Yeah. I'm sorry for you younger generations. Disney.
I wish we could have grew up with that.
Don't worry, Disney's screwing the pooch on Alien now too, so don't worry about it.
Okay, so you're not the biggest fan of Alien Earth.
It's all right. I told my audience, make up the mind for your own. I think it's beautifully done. I think the first episode maybe locks you in, but I think the second episode is where it fails, where they're showing too much of the xenomorph. You're showing too much, man. Like
Right off
the
the
thing is
bat.
supposed to build the tension, show it off, but every scene, I'm seeing the xenomorph in the background. Like, what's going on here?
Gosh.
So yeah.
Yikes. Yeah, red flags. Oh, here
Yeah.
we go. Double feature podcast. Hey guys.
Mm.
You're right, Nadia. It went against everything I as a woman would do. Yeah, talking about like
Yep.
entering the space with a dude. You don't even know him. Let's see. Proct file. Poor instincts / situational awareness are a silly trope in horror movies, but I have known ladies dumb enough to stick around despite all those red flags. Nice,
Before my
Proct
husband,
file.
I have been there, so I understand.
Nice. He's saying this how I part out loud.
Yep.
Oh gosh.
He's saying the
Like,
truth, unfortunately.
He's bitten. Double feature podcast. Yes, she has an obvious fear when exploring. The tension is palpable. Long's character was completely oblivious and nonchalant, all about self. Yeah, he turns out to be real selfish douche, unfortunately.
Which goes against what he plays as a characters usually, which is great. I would love to see him more in a sense like villain roles almost. I don't
That'd
think
be
he's the
cool.
villain of the story, but it'd be great to see him more. So
Has he been in anything kind of recently, or was that like his most recent?
he was
big
in
film?
Weapons for a cameo.
Oh yeah, briefly. Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
that would be it then. Huh.
Yeah.
Well, double feature agrees with you, Nadia. She isn't the villain. The men are, minus Keith.
Mhm.
Yeah, just 2 dudes though. I mean, it's not like tons of guys. And the homeless guy's nice too. He's not bad. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Oh, she also saw her as a victim. Yep. That's good. You guys are on the same page. Proct file.
Mhm.
Have you ever seen any of those before versus after makeup videos? After a certain point, that stuff should be illegal because the difference is crazy. Are you talking about with this lady? Or are you talking about just with ladies altogether?
Oh,
probably-
ladies all
Nice Proct file. Real appropriate. Okay, let's see.
But it's true. Like the makeup, I will say this. I like Cregger that he likes to stick to practical effects as much as he can, which I think ages horror better. I think if you rely on CGI too much, I mean, I just saw Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1999 in theaters yesterday.
Oh,
Henson.
wow, that happened already.
Practical,
Nice.
yeah, practical suits, all this stuff. Ages, it's really well done. Like it still holds up to this day. But I feel any movie that relies heavily on CGI is not going to age very well, especially when it comes to horror. I hate CGI blood. It's like the worst thing I think can ever happen. Use practical effects, which is cheaper too on set to do so. It's just
I guess it takes
laziness.
longer. Is that the problem?
I don't think it depends on who you hire, but I don't think it takes long. But for something like this, it makes sense to be practical effects, right? I don't see a need for CGI for it at all. And weapons too, as well. There's not really much. There's a little bit of CGI with the kids and stuff, but yeah.
Sure. All right, cool. Real quick, just 2 more chats here. Double feature podcast. I saw it as the cops not having any belief in a report because she was perceived to be homeless. The homeless are often ignored in our society. Oh, that's sad. You're probably right about that.
Situational awareness. Yep.
Sly Jester. I got off late from work, so like, share, and subscribe, or else this Florida man will give you a free weekend at his Airbnb in Alligator, Alcatraz. Do it. Listen to Sly Jester. Thumbs up, subscribe, share. Listen to the man. Oh, no. And now he's going to bed. Headed to bed, but have a great
Good night,
night.
Sly.
Even better tomorrow, everyone. Good to see you, Sly.
Good night.
Thanks for joining us. And you know what? This is a great segue into the next chapter of the story. We are going to shift to another perspective who's not, you know what, right off the bat, we're introduced to this guy. I remember, I haven't seen Watchmen, but I remember, I think he's Rorschach. Is that right? Have you seen Watchmen by chance, Nadia?
I have, but that's a long time ago.
I think it was this actor. I didn't look it up, but when I saw him, I immediately thought that just because of little clips I've seen. But you know, we changed perspectives to this guy here, and we're brought back to the 80s. Very different time, rewind. And this is sort of the origins of the house and the inbred monster. And we learn that a different monster, much worse than her, still lives beneath the floors yet to be seen. And right off the bat, you don't really I thought this was a father just looking for some baby products for his wife and child, but no, he's actually much more menacing than that. It's not really, I don't exactly, oh, well, you know what, now that I'm thinking about it, I do kind of understand a little better why he wanted these products, because, you know, he is an evil dude. And, you know, I think the bright lights and the wonderful expression of the 80s made this whole situation kind of lighter because, you know, a lot of scenes we get with this guy, it's very brief, it's in the daytime, and, you know, it's happy colors. It just looks like a happier environment. But what he's doing is actually pretty malicious, you know, shopping for these items, and he's stalking a poor lady out there. And you know, you later learn that he's a predator. He stalks these ladies and he captures them. He takes them in his basement and he films doing violent acts with them. And thankfully, we don't say anything like that, of course, in the movie. But you know, it's hinted that's what's been happening. And he's, you know, a big dick. He's a douche. And you start to discover, like, oh crap, that's what that little room was with the dirty bed and the cam recorder. And there's just much more to be seen in this basement because he's still around. You know, you think maybe this is, geez, how long is that? So this is the 80s and we're now in 2022, 40 years later. 40 years later, he's still alive and he's rotting in the basement. And Justin Long is soon going to approach him here. But what did you guys think of this, like, quick flashback portion of the story? Where did you think it was going?
I figured that this is the origin of the house and all the torture. I knew he was the guy who did it. I mean, it started off with the view of the house in the nice neighborhood, and then the man walking outside the house, getting in his car to get all the baby formula and whatnot. I really enjoyed that aspect of the film because it showed a darker, like in a different way, like a darker view of the film, like a very, very dark, malicious, like you said.
Yeah, it was different than what we've been seeing.
Yeah,
it's a human, it's a person.
How twisted this guy was. You know, predators are bad, you know, horrible, but this what he did, you know, that's something else. That's
yeah, it's hard to understand, you know, the gravity of what he did until the, you know, later towards the end when Justin Long is in the room and he sees all the tapes, you know, but we haven't hit that part of the story yet. What did you think, Nads, about this scene? What did you think was actually going on?
I've seen so much true crime. I knew this was our guy the moment. I love the contrast of the bright, like saturated colors, right? To contrast the tunnel. I like the fact that in most shots he's just supposed to be like bigger than the people around him. So like there's a shot where you see his point of view from the car, where you see him and he's stalking his victim, but he's actually pretty big in the shot. He's like over. So I automatically I was like, this is our villain, because we also see him with his neighbors. Everybody thinks he's like a shy guy. Nobody, you know, no red flags coming from this guy. He's just an old guy shopping, like you said, for his wife and stuff, to show that he's actually the real danger for this entire community. Yeah, I liked it. I knew right away. Watching so many true crimes, I was like, that's our dude.
You knew he was a bad guy.
Yeah,
he had no chance. I guess I wasn't sure. I thought that he seemed like, I knew there was something wrong. It's like, okay, we're taken back to this point in time for a reason. I had no idea it would be what it became. But, you know, there's not too much point lingering on this, but it was just kind of a surprising, like, element that was added to the movie that I did not see coming. So I definitely appreciate it for that.
Being aware of your situation too, when he's in his victim's house and he unlocks the window and stuff, and not being aware of like the people you invite into your homes and stuff. They might come across like, oh, it's just a maintenance dude, right? You don't know. We're just settled in our fear that, you know, this is just a professional visit. There you go.
Yeah, it was terrible how easy that was. I've not given that very much thought.
I think it's either the Long State Killer or one of them that was famous in California. He would go into his victims' homes ahead of time and like leave weapons in the homes to torture stuff, or unlock things like windows and stuff like that. This is a true story. He had multiple murders. I think they recently caught him or something, but yeah, that's how he would play out too. And then he'd be able to get in. And this is like, you know, early on before Ring cameras and all this stuff too. Yeah, and just be able to have weapons just hiding around the house that he stowed away.
Ring cameras are so helpful now. They do so much good. You know, it's great to just have
Nobody
that all
answers
the time.
their door.
No, I don't. Yeah, definitely not. I'd rather just check the ring and see if it's someone I know. And if it's not, goodbye. Just move on with the life. Let's see. Real quick, I want to get to these chats while they're still relevant. Let's see. Oh, I was wrong. Dang it. Come on,
Yeah,
Project
I was
Fall.
gonna
I thought I
tell
was
you.
right. You were gonna make fun of
Mm-mm.
me. Project Fall, different actors. Barbarians has Richard Brake. Watchmen has Jackie Earl Haley. They look
He
kind of
played
similar though, don't they?
he played Freddy Krueger. Not him. Jackie played Freddy Krueger in the new Nightmare on Elm Street that got
All right.
rebooted.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
I know of
Yeah.
him.
Wait. Okay. Jackie did.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm tripping
Richard
balls, man.
Brake has been in other movies. He's been, I think it was like a movie called like 31, I believe, and
Hmm.
he's been in. When I looked it up, what was it? Kingsman, Secret Service.
Oh, I don't
Yeah.
remember that. Oh,
I think he's
okay.
one of those actors that are kind of like of him when you notice him, but he's not an A-lister in the sense.
Okay.
You
Huh.
know,
Interesting.
be
Double
different with
feature.
Mel Gibson.
Double feature definitely do the noticed as well. Yes, as true crime watcher, I understood right away that he was a bad guy. The way he stalked his victim outside the store, just menacing. And during that time, it was not uncommon for people to let service people into your
Mhm.
home. We were watching the movie, and obviously Luke and I didn't grow up in the 80s. I doubt you did either. And
Born in the
we
late
were
80s.
thinking, we were thinking, like, man, I wish we could go back to that time. It just seemed like such a happy space. I love the way the houses looked, the storefront, the bright colors. Just seemed like such a nice environment. I wish we could go back to that time.
It was about community. So like I grew up in the
Mm.
90s and is similar to like till then, right? I was around when the internet first like hit off, right? And I think the internet, while helps in a lot of ways, I think it damages like our community relationships. People no longer want to be out in your community, involved in things, go to events, know your neighbor's name and know who lives down the street. Half the time people don't know that any day. Now everybody's just behind the screen and just way of their opinions.
Yeah, and here we
Including
are
me.
doing the same thing.
Including me.
We're the problem right here. We're the problem. That's right. You got to have it somewhere, and I don't think you find people more in common in this space, I guess. But that's a good point. It was just be nice to go back to that time. It's obviously very different. But here we go. We're gonna move on to the final part of the movie, which gets super intense. Everyone, it's about to get really crazy. It's going to heat up like crazy here. Let me find a relevant image. So yeah, let's focus on Justin Long for a moment here because his character is about to go through some pretty crazy arcs here. So let's see. We just got done with the flashback. Now we're going back to present time yet again. AJ, he just recently fled from the grasp of the inbred mommy, and he's kind of just wandering further and further into the basement. And you see just how far this thing goes. I mean, it's like the catacombs down there. And while the naked beast is racing towards him, he stumbles upon a door. And then she stops in fear and she will not go any further. And this is the moment where you realize what lies worse than her is behind this door. And she wants nothing to do with it. So, right off the bat, before we went into the room, I was wondering if maybe somehow he evolved into some sort of monster himself. But no, he walks in. It's a trashed room. It's disgusting. TV's on. Somehow they're getting electricity down there. And yeah, right. There's like weird old TVs hanging around. Kind of looks like it's stuck in the 80s, 90s. And it's disgusting space. And he sees an old dying man laying in bed. And it's just a normal dude. And I don't really understand how he gets around, if he just lives in there forever, if the inbred mommy takes care of him. Not exactly sure how that works with that. But this is where we're reintroduced to that man from the 80s. Obviously, he's in a much different place here. And this is when it's like finally concluded, like just how evil this guy is. When Justin Long, he runs into those tapes and he watches one, and you just see just a giant collection of them. And obviously it contains terrible acts done to the poor women victims that he has, and he's taken into the basement, and he realizes just how evil the old man is. And the old man, he fishes for a revolver and he pulls it out, and it looks like he's going to kill Justin Long, AJ, but he doesn't, and he offs himself, which was, I was surprised to see that happen. I'm not exactly sure why he did it in that moment, what the purpose of that was. But what were you guys feeling like during this reveal when we saw him in this state? Pretty much this whole segment. What did you think was going to happen here? Once we entered this room.
You can go first, Nuts.
I watch too much true crime, Luke. Like,
Yeah.
and again, I like the fact that we don't see initially what he's done to his victims, but we have in a sense the result with the mother, right? Because the mother is inbreded. So it's not that only he's doing these to these strange women that he's kidnapping and God forbid, probably they're disappearing and killing, but he's having children with these women and doing things to these children too. That's how we get the inbred of the mother. So like, it's not even, it's horrible what he's done to these women, but it's even more, he's like pure evil to Sinister to think he also takes it as far as to his own children that he's having with these women. So I think it allows the audience to kind of fill in the gaps and just be like, duh. That's like, I think it wouldn't be as impactful if you showed stuff, right? Or if you laid all the cards on the table for the audience, let them fill in the gaps on their own.
I like that he does that. That's something I'm really appreciating about him. And, just after watching this and Weapons, I mean, this guy, he's so clearly his own creator. He's such a great creative. And both of these movies are so different than each other. And you mentioned that so well. I thought both of these were just going to be gore fest, like I said earlier. But no, he doesn't show a lot of this stuff. He leaves a lot of the story for you to fill in, like you said. And, in that moment, like, there's a lot to unpack there. And, we just watched this, so we're not super clear on it. I'm glad you had some more time to think about it. You've seen it a few times because we definitely need to see it again. But yeah, that's a good point. It's such a malicious moment. And I was surprised that he offed himself. I didn't see that coming. I'm not sure why he didn't just kill Justin.
Yeah, he doesn't want to atone for his sins in the real world, right? He doesn't, no matter, and he knows exactly where he's probably going, right? If he believes in it. But he doesn't want to have to explain himself. Yeah, he doesn't want to see he doesn't want people to look at him any differently than what he was looked at in those flashbacks, right? So
okay, that's fair.
He's a coward.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, do you have something, Luke?
Oh no, I was agreeing with Nadia. He is a coward. He doesn't want to take accountability, so he kind of offs himself before he is given the opportunity to. Yeah, he's just scared. He's had 40 years to process everything.
Jeez, that's insane. Yeah, that's a lot of time.
So,
Well, now that happened, we moved past that moment. And remember back when Tess was able to escape? Well, you know what? She reluctantly returned. She wants to save poor Justin Long in the basement. She comes along. The cops aren't helping her. The homeless guy isn't helping her. She goes on down there. I don't think she actually...
Forget that. I'd be on the way home. I'd be like,
I know, right? It was nice. She cared. Good for her.
No.
She was a great character. I enjoyed watching her, and compassionate young lady. And yeah, she re-enters the basement looking for him. I don't think she has a weapon on her, which would have been nice if she packed something, but there was nothing really around, I guess. But while she goes down there, AJ, he has the revolver now that Frank used to off himself. So he's now packing that. He's walking around. Tess scares him and he shoots her in the stomach. Oh gosh, like so nice of her to go down there, and boom, now she's injured, makes the situation even worse. He feels terrible. At first he thinks she's dead. Thankfully she's not. She wakes up and they both kind of facing the injury, they barely escape. And she realizes that the inbred lady, after being hit, she actually ran over the inbred lady earlier. When she re-entered the house, she drove into the inbred mommy with her car. It looked like she was kind of dead. She's not dead, of course. She escaped. They realize the inbred mommy is still in the picture. She's wandering around late at night. They're kind of screwed. So they're barely trying to escape. They find the homeless man. He invites them into his little safe quarters behind a fence, and he tells them, "No, you guys are safe. Nothing's ever happened to me, and I've been living here like 15 years." And then right when that happens, I knew it. She pops up and she tears his arm off and beats him with it. And yeah, that's one of those moments where, okay, she's definitely not a human now. She tore his arm off like it was nothing. And yeah, she beat him to death with it. And it was so sad because he was that wise guardian. He was nice. And it was like, we don't really get much time to process that at all. It just kind of happens and we move past it. And the two make an interesting decision to to go up a water tower. It looked like a water tower. So they're both climbing up the stairs. Justin Long is just racing to the front. He's not really thinking about her, and she's injured. She's like, wait for me, please. Don't go yet. He's got the revolver. He's the only chance of them surviving. And he waits a little bit, and she finally comes up there, and he is at the top. He's looking down at the stairs, and he's noticing the inbred mommy. She's just moving and moving. She's going up the stairs, round and round. So he pulls out the revolver. The idiot's not even equipped yet, and he's trying. I don't know what he's even doing. He's trying to handle it again, and he carelessly drops it off of the water tower, and there goes your weapon. There's no chance now. Inbred mommy's coming up there. Now, your injured friend Tess, who pretty much sacrificed her life to save you, she's also climbing up, and he realizes there's only one way to save the day. And this was probably the most shocking scene in the entire film. He takes her and he throws her off the edge. He throws her off the edge. And he does this because he thinks, or he says it, I believe he says in the moment, it's like, this is the only way to get her off, or he says something like that. And of course, when she fell off, she is, of course, like the metaphorical baby to the inbred mommy that she's been nursing, horrifyingly. And the inbred mommy follows her footsteps. She leaps off, and they both tumble to their death. And at that moment, you realize, oh my gosh, Justin Long is the biggest douche in the world. And there's not much more that happens here, so I'm just going to get to the end, and then let's talk about it. But he goes back downstairs, and he's like, oh crap, what did I just do? But he didn't really seem very remorseful. He was more so just worried about what was going to happen to him because of it. He really feels the pain of his decision when he goes down, and he realizes she's not dead. Somehow she survived the fall. Inbred mommy, she really took a lot of the energy of the blow hitting the ground, and she kind of cushioned her descent, which is, actually kind of nice. And she survived, and she was pretty normal actually from the fall. She didn't really seem all that injured. And he's like, gosh, he's like, oh, I didn't know that that you would, survive. I didn't know that that would happen. It was totally an accident. I didn't even like push you. And he was defending himself. Yeah, it was the only way. He was just all over the place, freaking out. He was definitely wishing she was dead. And at that point, oh crap, inbred mommy is not dead. She stands up, she grabs him, and she gouges his eyes out. She gouges his eyes out. He dies on the spot. His head splits. You don't really see it. It's pretty horrifying still. And she starts to coddle poor Tess. And in this moment, Tess is just complete shock, doesn't know what to do. She has the revolver, and she finally shoots her in the head, thus ending the film. So how okay, so we have a lot to talk about here. Before we get to the main point, let's start with something just a little light. How sad were you guys to see the poor homeless man reach his demise?
Not really that sad, honestly.
You didn't care?
I mean, I knew that was his fate in the very end. Right after he said, it's been 15 years, never.
It was like perfect lead up to dying.
I was like, yeah, he's kind of irrelevant in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't. While I appreciate what he did for the characters, there's not much time spent with him to have like any kind of emotional attachment to him. So to me, this plays in the creature feature where it's just like a rando that gets pulled apart by the monster, right? It's just a cool kill for the audience.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I was a little more empathetic. I'm like, no, don't die, bro. I love you. That's true though. You don't get that much time for him.
On a lighter note, I have one more comparison. I'm glad that it didn't end this way. I had kind of a little thought in the back of my head from the Goonies, that one creature monster that was locked in the basement. I was like, please don't take him home and
no,
claim this thing as your own.
Oh my gosh, that would be awful. And if somehow she continued. Oh my gosh, that'd be interesting. I could kind of see it going that way a little bit.
Yeah,
but she also watched her friend get his eyes. Oh wait, no, get his head bashed in.
Yeah.
So I don't think
Well,
she
that was
probably
just
was
that
not
was
thinking
just
that.
protecting her baby, you know.
Well, in the beginning.
Right.
In the beginning.
Right.
So I don't know. I think maybe she could have possibly been more merciful if that hadn't happened because she actually liked that guy and she went in blind, even though Nadia, you make a good point. Who knows what happened before she arrived down there. So maybe he did do something to cause that situation
He
to
said
happen.
he bit him.
Oh yeah, I know that was weird. Yeah. But yeah, that was like just one little thing. That's why I thought maybe he was like infected with something or he like was like I don't know, mentally altered from that weird thing that happened. But okay, obviously, let's get to the elephant in the room. How did you guys feel about that chaotic conclusion at the top of the water tower?
I think it's a bit of a mess, to be honest. I
Oh.
think it's trying to tie too much stuff up in the ending. So we get Justin Long's confession, right? AJ's confession, to give him a fake redemption arc. And then at the end, he still sacrifices Tess to save his own life instead of trying to figure out how to save both. And I also think that Tess killed the mother as like a mercy kill too, as well. Like, because of, I mean, who would you want somebody to be, spent their entire life like that? And I wrote like AJ sacrifices Tess, marking him as the barbarian of the film.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. I didn't think about that.
Yeah. I don't think the ending's bad. I think it fits the storytelling. I just think it's a little too rushed maybe, or maybe too predictable. Because one of them has to survive, and AJ's been set up as such a douchebag. Even with that redemption speech, I still didn't believe it. So you knew
Wait,
at
so
least
which part was the redemption speech? I can't remember
where
that.
he's talking about, like, he's telling, like, he's opening up to Tess at some point where he's like talking about the sexual assault and everything and his life and such. I can't remember exactly. It is like a fake out. Like, oh, you think
sure,
he's like turning the leaf, right? He's gonna be the hero. No. Turns out to be, in a sense, Tess is like the final girl of the film.
Man. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't think about that. Huh.
Yeah.
Well, he's definitely, I like the thought that he's the barbarian after all. I was thinking it wasn't her. I was thinking it was Frank, the disgusting old dude. But this makes more sense because he wasn't really a barbarian
No,
from
he was
what we
just a villain.
saw.
Just pure evilness of a background story. I mean, I think Frank is the villain of Barbarian, but I think AJ is the barbarian. AJ almost mirrors Frank, right? Look, comparison of sexual assault with the two of them. Granted, Frank a little bit more severe than AJ, but not saying that what AJ did is not severe, right? I think all sexual assault is, but yeah, it's almost a contrast of like, this is the modern day Frank, right? You take a between the two. So yeah, I just
what do you think,
it's
Luke?
an okay ending. It's okay.
I really enjoyed the absurdity of that outcome. Mainly
love
because
weapons then.
Oh yes.
Oh, definitely.
Tomorrow,
That's as absurd as it gets.
I'm very excited. I was very happy to happy with that scene because it really sealed the deal that he did, in fact, all those allegations against him were true. Because,
yeah, that's when you knew it's like, all right, this guy is a dick.
I mean,
for sure.
I knew when he made that drunk call to her, obviously. But it I don't know. I had a lot of amusement from this character, AJ. He was so not funny. He wasn't a funny guy. The thought of his character was funny. I mean, he was so like I said, absurd and so selfish. And
I like watching a messed up main character.
Right, that's
I
what I
like
mean.
the imperfect protagonist because he is somewhat a protagonist. He was. I don't know. Would you not call him the protagonist?
I think
throughout most of the movie until the end.
Maybe, somewhat. I think our main protagonist is Tess, but I don't. Maybe I think AJ's just kind of just a thrown in. I don't know. I think Cregger just likes to throw in characters that are just like, what's going on? What's going on here? And it just fits along with the storyline. I also think it's just a way to, just give a modern day Frank.
Yeah, he made it clear that he was every man for himself.
Oh, you think he's the modern day Frank?
AJ is the modern day Frank.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Jeez, that's
Yeah.
freaky.
Double feature. Corrected me. It said AJ is talking at the homeless guy about the incident and trying to make it right.
Nadia about AJ thought that he was.
The one
Oh,
up
wow.
above it.
Oh, this one. Oh, my bad. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the
That's
scene when
what I
AJ
was
is
referring
talking to
to.
the homeless guy about the incident and trying to make it right. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. He was
But
talking
still
to
not
him.
owning up to his mistakes. He's just making excuses left and right. Even at the end, it's it's the only way I could survive in a sense, right? It's the only thing I could do was to throw you off the water tower. Throughout
Gosh.
the whole thing, he's never said I'm sorry for what I've own up to his mistakes. Sorry, Luke, didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're completely fine. That's
Did you guys feel like, do you think the movie was actually scary? Were you scared watching this, or like, how would you describe it? Like you said, a creature feature, thriller. Is it that? I mean, is it really even a horror?
Well, my way of being scared is feeling unsettled, and I felt unsettled by the thought of the whole predator aspect of it, and it's just so unsettling and gross and skin crawling, and that's I consider that a scary movie. So
Sure. I don't know. I feel like horror and thriller, they're so different though. I'm wondering what the unsettling, like, is that a topic itself? You have your horror, you have action, you have comedy, you have thriller.
So
Like, what's the name for that?
So to me, horror is like a huge umbrella that has little categories in it. So you have like sci-fi horror, you have thrillers, you have body horror, you have gore fest, you have psychological horror, right? So it's very interesting because I have been in nonstop fights and discussion about horror and like chats, like what is horror and stuff. I think it depends on the individual. Like, what do you find creepy? To me, I don't find gore scary, but people do. Last year, I saw one of the scariest movies I saw last year was Heretic. Why? Because it hit my fear buttons. It like what I'm afraid of, like the afterlife and theology and all this stuff. It was able to hit. So it's scared for me. Some people found it boring. Some other people found it boring. So I think it depends on like where your fear is and what you're scared of. But yeah, I don't find this scary. I thought it was entertaining, but it didn't hit any of my like fear buttons for it. But I
That
would
was
say it
something
is a horror
weird.
movie.
You're so right. I feel like the other genres don't really have so many subgenres within them like horror does. Yeah, definitely one of its own, and you would know better than everyone else, really. With all that, you're totally invested in
anything.
horror. Oh, come on, give yourself lots of credit. You deserve it. There's, and that's something I love. That's something I really like about horror, is because I like that there's pretty much always fresh content in horror. We get
the good, the bad,
the
ugly.
Yeah, there's a lot of bad, a lot of good.
Flop, yeah.
Sure. And you know what? It's nice that it's kind of accessible. Like anybody can really get involved in that at any level. I think this movie is so clearly a lot smaller than Weapons. Weapons just feel so much bigger. And we really just follow not very many characters here. You have Bill Skarsgård, barely. You have Justin Long. You have Tess, a little bit of the homeless guy, inbred lady, and Frank. That's it.
Yep.
And a lot of them just for little tidbits. And, most of the time we're just spent in the dark or in a claustrophobic space. So I wonder.
This movie. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, you continue.
This movie could have been way messier. Even though it's only so many characters, there's so many storylines going on. And sometimes when movies kind of fluff up a lot of storylines, like it doesn't work. Prime example, Beetlejuice last year. Beetlejuice. Have either of you seen it?
Yeah.
Two storylines that just didn't make sense. Like half the time when you're in one storyline, you're forgetting about what's going on with the other characters. Like it would make more sense to have one. Here, it works. It just somehow flows very well in the way the storytelling and editing is.
That movie is so forgettable. I don't remember anything about that.
And they're making another one.
Who wants to rewatch that either? Just for Jenna Ortega and Winona Ryder's sake, right?
Never.
Yeah. No.
There's only
so,
one Beetlejuice.
So dry. Exactly. Literally. That's how I feel about the Scream movies. I can't do these new sequels. I can't. No, make it stop.
The good, the
Please.
bad, the ugly. I got a new Scream mask yesterday.
Oh,
Which is a
nice.
scary movie.
That's
wet
great.
lap.
That's hilarious. Nice.
Scream, Scream.
Well, do you guys have any final thoughts about this movie? Is this something you recommend viewers check out?
10 out of 10 recommend.
Wow, Luke loved
Wow.
it. Are you sure, Luke? That's a big number.
Oh, I am. That was pretty solid.
Mhm.
That was one of my favorite.
It was a
watches.
fun watch. That was a lot of fun, us watching that together. Definitely a good one. What do you think, Nads?
I think it's a good introduction into a little bit more step up into horror, right? I think it allows the audience to think it doesn't kind of lay out the cards on the table. I give it probably an 8 out of 10, to be honest. I think
Mhm.
there are still some problems with the final act on it, but I think those are very minor compared to the overall story of the film. I would recommend it. If you liked weapons, I would recommend Barbarian. However, if you haven't seen Barbarian, go in blind. Don't watch trailers. Just
Well, we've
don't
already
do
given
the-
everything up.
Yeah, I figured. Yeah.
Go
Or
in blind, everybody. Just
Tell your
disregard
friends to go
everything.
in blind. Yeah, just tell your friends to go in blind. For it.
Yeah, that's funny.
Completely
I always
I'm
wonder if
interested. Ooh,
I always wonder if people like listen to the stream that haven't seen the movie and they're curious, or if everyone watches and they've seen it. You know, I'm always wondering about
Mhm.
that.
I think it's
but-
a mix of both. I also am interested to see what Cregger does with Resident Evil because they gave.
Oh, that's
him
right.
Yeah.
That could be good.
I don't know. I want him to just do original title. Just give me something else that's weird that we haven't seen anything in the world of, please. This is great. Both these movies, Weapons brought me here, and now I'm, giving him a round of applause for this one because
I changed my score.
That was great. Oh
Ooh.
gosh.
I thought of something that I didn't like. I give it a 9 out of 10 because it makes no sense. The whole police thing.
Yeah, that is so weird.
Why aren't they investigating? Why are they so rude?
I think they're just used to homeless people. I think honestly
Right.
they're used, but you're right. Yeah.
I mean, but do they not notice granted the whole neighborhood is abandoned, but have there been no calls about a 7-foot?
Yeah, no calls, right? It's so
Especially at night.
outlandish.
Do
Like,
they
how could you
patrol
believe
at
it?
night? I think it's a
Yeah.
trope in horror movies that they're playing on the cops because most of the time the cops in horror movies don't believe the victims, don't believe the scenario until the last minute, or they stumble across something and then they get to be a victim, right? So I think it's kind of maybe a nod to like the trope of cops in horror movies.
Like Monster
Mm.
House.
Yeah.
Monster House. That's a fun one. That'd be a fun one to watch again. Here, let's
Yeah.
get to the chat real quick before we finish up. Thanks everybody for sticking around. Let's see. Proct Files agreeing with you. 100% Nads. I've had the weird privilege of seeing the social transition that took place before and after the internet. The contrast is crazy, especially with how quickly it happened.
I feel bad
That's
for
sad.
you too. Yeah.
Oh, Lucia, she's upset about something. Ew, what's that? I don't know. Hopefully you're not talking about us. Don't feature podcast.
My hair.
We've been talking about a lot of gross stuff. Maybe she was talking about the eyes being gouged out.
Or the
That's
bottle.
what it is.
Poor Justin Long. We see him in Jeepers Creepers. What happens to him in there? Then we got him in this. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
poor bastard.
Oh, that's a great movie.
Oh yeah, that's a classic. I kind of want to talk about that on a stream sometime, but I already made a video a while ago. We'll see. It's funny. The video I made about Jeepers Creepers like over a year ago, I dogged on it, but now I love it. So I feel.
Have you seen any of the sequels?
I saw the second one. I haven't seen Beyond
Okay.
that.
Stop there. Stop there.
Okay.
Don't do it
Yeah.
yet.
The
No,
second one's
no.
already ridiculous, so I can't imagine it gets probably way worse.
It gets really worse. It's really bad. Really
That'd be
bad.
fun if they did a proper reboot for that. I would not mind getting a
Mm.
reboot of Jeepers Creepers. If
Yeah,
they do it right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not that complicated, I don't think. So they'll probably screw it up. Double feature podcast. I initially thought it was going to be bad when he entered the room and the mother didn't follow him. She backed away. Oh yeah. Yeah, that was a great sign. It's like, okay, something really bad happens here.
Well, it's to throw you off because the whole time you're expecting the mother to be the villain, right? The monster in the closet, the monster under your bed. And if the monster is scared of something, kind of like Frankenstein's monster references it there, what could be behind this door that's worse than it?
True.
The
I need to
real
watch the
villain.
original Frankenstein.
You should before the new one.
Oh, you're right. Guillermo del Toro, right? That comes out kind of soon. Is it October or November?
October 7th, they're doing a small release through theaters, and then it'll be on Netflix.
Oh,
So.
cool. It looks like
Yeah.
Netflix is it's starting to get into the theater game finally a little bit. They're doing it with some anime movie they just made. But it's like, great, finally, Netflix movies are going to theaters. I'm fine with it.
Oh,
sounds great.
I think they would be missing the mark and a lot of money if they didn't put this Frankenstein movie in theaters, especially on an IMAX or like to see it a little bit bigger. And especially, he spent 10 years of his life doing this movie. It's 10 years of his life committed to this IP and stuff. So kind of,
this movie?
and I love his stuff. Yeah, Frankenstein. Yeah, 10 years of build up to this. This is his life's work. So I like Del Toro's stuff. So
this is not a Netflix film, then. This is a theater film. Absolutely. That's ridiculous.
100%. 100%. This should be a theater film. Yeah.
That's great to know. I'll definitely have to see that then. It has a pretty good cast of actors, too. Double feature. He continues to show that he is not a good person throughout several incidents in the film. His speaking to his friend in the club, how he speaks to his mother, and throwing her off the roof. Yeah, those are some red flags, aren't they? Oh gosh.
He admitted, all the allegations to his friend, saying, she said no, but it was fine though.
I'm persistent. Yeah.
So it evens out. We're all good.
Let's see. Yep, double feature. I felt very unsettled by this film, but more so about AJ and Frank. I think anything else that unsettles you or gives you fear can be considered horror to you. That is, I like the idea that, it depends on who's watching, right? Everybody, takes it differently. Like Blue Collar Loser says here, horror is subjective. I feel true fear when I forget my boredom password. Classic Blue. Classic Blue. Yep, horror subjective. Oh, Wilkie's still here. He's still listening. We love you, Wilkie. Awake? He's still awake. He's not in bed. He's got his nightgown on and his hat with the stars on it. Yep.
I can't believe I've seen Space Odyssey and Corey hasn't. I'm so surprised by this.
He said he owns it, but he hasn't watched it yet.
Shame.
He needs to see it. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Double feature real quick before we end. What annoyed me about the cops is why they didn't run her car in front of the home. I don't know what you mean by that.
Or run the plates.
Oh, yeah. That would have been nice. Yeah, see, she's like, got, a competent lifestyle. That'd be nice. Yes, and she also loves Del Toro and wants to see it in the theaters. Cool. I haven't really seen any of his movies, so
really
I need to check him out. What are some of his big titles?
Pan's Labyrinth.
That's him.
Crimson Peak, which was marketed as a horror movie, but it's actually a gothic tale. Nightmare Alley, which I liked. Not a lot of people did, but you have to have a particular taste for his work. He did Pinocchio as well.
I need to add these to my list. Pan's Labyrinth is one of those.
I would start with Pan's Labyrinth. Start with Pan's Labyrinth first.
So does he take forever on these movies? Do they or is it just like this Frankenstein
by the way,
film?
He did the first 2 Hellboys, or is it 3? But yeah, so I think because he has. If you ever watch him interview, or even get a tour of his house, he's got a huge Frankenstein head that sits at I'm talking huge, off the banister of one of his rooms and stuff. It's just something he's always loved, influenced him in his films and stuff. So this is just 10 years of research and loving this IP so much to finally be able to be the person to put it on film. So yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, Nadia, before we sign off, is there anything you'd like to say about your channel and shout yourself out?
No, I'm kidding.
Nice.
I cover horror over on my channel. Every Tuesday I do a news segment, and then Thursday right now we're covering The Institute, and Friday is Stranger Things on my channel. We're doing a rewatch to get prepared for season 5, and then we'll be covering season 5 as well. So yeah, tune in. Horror with Nads.
Yeah, be sure to check out her channel, everybody. Give her a sub, give her some support. Doesn't hurt, and it could go a long way. And maybe you'll enjoy her content. So yeah, be sure to definitely check her out, and be sure to check us out again tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern time. We're talking about Oh gosh, we're talking about weapons. We're not talking about Barbarian. Today was Barbarian. Tomorrow's Weapons, the big film hitting the screens that everyone's talking about, you know. And if you're curious about that, if you want to hear it explained and broken down, kind of similar today, please join us at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Gord King is going to be joining us. We're going to be
Ooh.
having fun with the Gord
Ooh.
and Ty, big horror fan, and myself, and we've thought about the movie deeply, and we think there's a few things you might have missed when you watched it. So if you'd like a more deeper breakdown of that, be sure to join us tomorrow. But anyways, thank you all for joining us. We appreciate all your support and staying till the end, and see you next time.